Hi there, my name is Sarah Taylor, and today I'm going to be sharing with you different EdTech sites that promote a culture of learning in the classroom. You might be wondering, what is a learning culture? A learning culture refers to the shared attitudes, beliefs, and practices and values that underpin how an institution or a profession designs the education of its learners. This is really the idea that students continue to learn and they know how to dig deeper into topics of interest. In the classroom, it means that you've developed a culture that supports ongoing learning for your students. And of course, this is what we want as educators. We want our students to be able to learn and to grow, not only in what we direct them to learn with their curriculum, but in the things that interest them and help them to grow naturally, because at some point in their life, they're not going to have a teacher that it's going to be directing their learning. We want them to become self-starters when it comes to learning. So I'm going to be sharing with you 3 different tools that will help you in your classroom develop a culture of learning so your students can learn and grow as individuals. But before we talk about that, let's talk about some values for a learning culture at our school. At our school, we have a few things that we value. We want our students to be active participants in the learning culture. We want them to collaborate with each other and learn how to work together and grow in their knowledge. We want them to be creators, not just consumers of technology. So we want them to create digital content and physical content and artifacts that demonstrate their learning. We want them to be able to develop problem-solving skills and critical thinking skills as they encounter new information. And we want them to feel empowered to make connections between what they're reading and learning and real life. So again, like I said before, we're going to talk about 3 tools that you can use in your classroom that would help develop that sort of culture where students continue to learn and are empowered to learn for themselves. The first one is Common Sense Education, and the website is www.commonsense.org. There are 3 ways that Common Sense Media and Common Sense Education can support you as a teacher. They really have a 3-fold purpose. They provide professional development for teachers. They also provide reviews for teachers and parents and adults of common educational technology tools and websites and apps that you might come encounter with, and they give you pros and cons. They just have an evaluation of them so you can learn what they are and decide if that was something that you would want to use. So as you learn about new apps, you can go to Common Sense Media and see what their review of that new app is. But the one I really want to focus on is the digital citizenship curriculum. So Common Sense Media has a free full curriculum that gives lesson plans and resources on digital citizenship and it's age appropriate from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. So you can find something that's going to work for the students that you teach. They've partnered with Harvard Graduate School of Education to do the research on this curriculum. So it's very strong and it's research based. And again, it's free, which is fantastic. Instead of teaching students skills regarding digital citizenship, they teach dispositions instead. And I think dispositions is a great way to develop this learning culture, because dispositions mean like these are the thinking, and this is the thinking that I need and the attitudes that I need to have regardless of where I am. So these dispositions are taught in 6 different topics, and these topics are connected to real-world issues and real-world scenarios. The 6 topics are digital balance and well-being, privacy and security, digital footprint, communicating, cyberbullying, and critical thinking and creating. So as they go to each of those topics, they give students the way to think or way to approach those topics so that they can make decisions regardless of what they face. In the lesson plans are very easily laid out. They provide videos and activities and things and different activities so that the students can practice those dispositions. The second tool that we're going to look at is Nearpod, and the website is nearpod.com. Nearpod is a tool that you can use during synchronous learning. It is a way for teachers to make their content, when they deliver content, instead of it just being the teacher talks, the student listens, it's much more interactive. It works on a variety of devices, so it doesn't really matter what you have in front of you, the student could use it. Chromebooks, iPads, phones, web-based, as long as it can connect to the internet, you should be able to use Nearpod on it. And so when we could actually be doing this lesson right now using Nearpod, and I would have my website up as the teacher, and you would have the same set of slides up as a student, but along the way, I would stick in an interactive element. So maybe I would be teaching and saying, hey, we're talking about learning culture, and here are some of the things that we value. And I would say, why don't you check it out? Why don't you answer this question, or take a poll, or move the elements around on the page, or write a mind map? What do you think learning culture encompasses? And so there's ways that students would work actively. So students learn actively by manipulating the content on the slides, or they answer polls. They can also construct knowledge. They have open-ended questions where the students would write or draw or type or create a mind map. And then as a teacher, teachers can assess the students easily, because as a teacher, I can see all of the answers that my students have done during my Nearpod lesson. So there's content. As a teacher, I can create my own content, or I can collect and use the content that's been curated by other people. The Common Sense Media that we talked about previously has slides in Nearpod. So if you see a Common Sense lesson that you want to do, you might be able to use it with Nearpod. So it's really nice how these things kind of work together. The next one we're going to be talking about is Flipgrid. Flipgrid is one of my favorite tools to use, and the website is flipgrid.com. It's free for educators to set up. Flipgrid combines the best of creating videos and having discussion boards. It's perfect for asynchronous learning. I love it. This is one of my favorite tools to use. It has a very simple and intuitive video system and editing tools for students and teachers to use. It's a lot of fun. The students love putting stickers and filters and text on their tools, on their videos, because it shows their creativity. There are 100 different ways you can use Flipgrid in the classroom, and I'm going to give you a few of them as we go through. I like this tool because it really empowers student voice. Like they want their voice to be heard as they create their videos. And another great thing about it is each video that a student creates has its own URL. So if you wanted to share one specific video out of the whole Flipgrid, you can share one video. You can make a QR code with it or just email it out. Each video has its own URL. So here are some of the benefits. The teachers will create a topic in their Flipgrid, and when they have their prompt, it can be a text prompt, it can be a video prompt. There's all sorts of ways you can add images and GIFs and memes to it just to make it more interesting and engaging. And then the student's responsibility is to create a video to answer what you've asked in the prompt. And then students can respond to each other, and they're all nested under the video. So if Johnny makes a video, then Sally and Susie and Billy and Bobby can all make a response to the first video. And then it's a really easy way to assess student understanding. You can see if they understand a new skill because they have to demonstrate that skill. Or you can see if they get the process. What are you making and how are you coming along in your process? You can practice communicating. You can practice interviewing. You can give an explanation. One way that I've used it is when my students have created something in Makerspace, they'll make an infomercial for it, and then they have to share the benefits of the thing that they made. And so it's very fun to see the students' creativity in that. Another thing is students can give each other feedback through Flipgrid. Like if they're working on creative writing, maybe they're writing a poem, they can read what they have so far in their poem, and then they can pose a question. I'm looking for words that rhyme with this word, or I need an idea for my creative writing for my, what is my character going to do next? I need some ideas. And so students can give ideas and give suggestions for improvement. That culture of giving feedback is really, really important. It's a good way to reflect after you've read a section in a book or learned something, covered a topic in history or science. You can give students a chance to reflect. How does this connect to the world? Where would you use these principles in real life? And then they can talk about them. The students practicing communication and interpersonal skills is very important in a digital environment. So those are 3 tools that you can use to create a learning culture in your class. And if you have any questions on how to use them, I'm happy to help you. Thanks for watching.